So there are some common fraction and decimals that we need to just memorize. That we don't want to take the time to work them out. We always could, but we're expected, the EOG, your teachers, we all expect you just to know these very quickly. So the thirds. The thirds are going to be repeating decimals. So 1/3 is going to be 0.3 repeating. So 0.33333333. 2/3, so double that. So instead of 0.3 repeating, we have 0.6 repeating. And then 3/3, or 3 out of 3, is 1. So pause that if you need to get your thirds down. So this is your reference sheet for you to help you to memorize these. Then you have your fifths. So 1/5, 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 2 is 2, so 2/10. So we can make these all to tenths fairly easy by multiplying by 2. 2/5. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4/10, 0.4. 3/5, so you just times the top number, fifths, by 2, you get 0.6. 4/5 equals 4 times 2 is 0.8. And 5/5 is 1. So you can pause it and get your fifths down. Another one that's great to know is your eighths, and if you know your eighths, you also know your fourths. So 1/8 is going to be 0.125. 2/8, which is simplified to 1/4, which we should know, is 0.25. 3/8 is 0.375, and 4/8, which is 1/2, is 0.5. So you can pause it to get down some of your eighths if you need to. And then we're going to keep going. 5/8 is 0.625. 6/8, which simplifies to 3/4. So 3/4 is 75 cents. 7/8, 0.875. And 8/8 is 1. So these are some common fraction decimals that we want to work on memorizing and just knowing. 4/8, that's 1/2, 0.5. Or 1/8, that's 0.125. These are ones you're going to see a lot. All right. So when you're ready, we can move on. So you can pause it if you still need to. And we got a few reminders here. Terminating decimals are decimals that end. So they're decimals that end. So we're going to practice 2 that are terminating decimal. 1, we're going to change 1/8 to a decimal. So remember, we have to divide the numerator by the denominator. 8 can go into 1 0 times, add a decimal, add a 0. 8 can go into 10 1 time with 2 left over, add a 0. 8 can go into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16 with 4 left over, drop down a 0, and 8 can go into 45 times. So a terminating decimal terminates. It ends. So we got 0.125. Now I want you to try this next one on your own. Change 3/5 to a decimal. Should change 3/5 to a decimal. So pause it right here and try that. Okay, when you're ready, you can click play to move on. Now, one of our easy tools was to get it to a denominator of 10. So times 2 times 2. You got 6/10 which is read as 6/10. But you could have also divided, if you didn't see that shortcut, 5 into 3. 5 can go 0 times, add a decimal, add a 0. 5 can go into 36 times. Either way, you get 0.6. Okay, the next reminder is going to be repeating decimals. Decimals do not end. We're going to use a bar notation to show which numbers repeat. So our one example here is we're going to change 7/22 to a decimal. So I want you to pause it and try that. When you're ready to move on, press play and move on. So 22 can go into 7 0 times. Add a decimal, add a 0. 22 can go into 73 times. 3 times 22 is 66, with 4 left over. Add a 0. 22 can go into 40 one time, with 18 left over. 22 can go into 180 8 times, with 4 left over. 22 can go into 40. Oh, what's going to happen? One time, with 18 left over, it's going to repeat. It is going to repeat, and the two numbers that are repeating are the 1 and the 8, the 1 and the 8. So when we write our answer, the line only goes over the 1 and the 8 because those are the only two numbers repeating. Now, there is a special set of repeating numbers, are 9s. So if 9 is the denominator, it is repeating. It is repeating. And it's going to repeat the numerator. For example, 1/9. It's going to be the numerator repeating, so 0.1 repeating. 2/9. It's going to be 0.2 repeating. 3/9, which is 1/3. It's going to be 0.3 repeating. The numerator repeats. 4/9. It's going to be 0.4 repeating. 5/9. It's going to be 0.5 repeating. 6/9. It's going to be 0.6 repeating, which simplifies to 2/3, which we learned was 0.6 repeating at the top of our paper. 7/9 is 0.7 repeating. 8/9 is 0.8 repeating. And 9/9 is 1. You are now ready to try the practice questions. So go ahead and move on. Remember, you can use your notes in the practice section.